Welcome to the City Current Show, powered by Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services.
This show focuses on sharing good news and powering the good in our community. Now here's your host, City Current CEO, Jeremy Park.
Welcome to the City Current Show, powered by Higginbotham. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference and powering the good. And we always love talking about the nonprofit Tucker's House. That's why we're honored to have with us Graham Honeycutt, Executive Director of Tucker's House. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. So great to be back here again and enjoy doing this every year.
Well, when you talk about helping children and families and homes and making it feel like home and all the adaptations, like there's a lot of really cool storylines to Tucker's House. So let's start, before we even dive into the mission, the purpose for the nonprofit, you have your own personal storyline with Tucker's House. So give us a little bit of your background and then we'll dive into all the good you do at Tucker's House.
Yeah, so my personal story, I started at Tucker's House. It's hard to believe it's been over 5 years now. But we were actually a Tucker's House family first. So my oldest daughter, Michaela, was born with disabilities. Tucker's House came out and did some home modifications for us. We had planned to do a larger bathroom remodel, but unfortunately, Michaela passed away. It's been 6 years ago now. But, I was just, after that time, I was talking with the founder and she was looking to transition and my mind came to mind of, hey, I would like to hand this off to someone who has a heart for the mission. And so that's how I entered in. And it's hard to believe, like I said, that's been that 5 years. But, it's just been a great way for me to integrate that, to honor my daughter and her story, but also to help other families have the same access to accessibility in the home that we did. So
absolutely. And I think that's a special, like you said, the legacy piece to me, and honoring. So, I think that's a cool personal storyline. As you mentioned, 5 years now for you, but talk about some of the history for Tucker's House.
Yes. So Tucker's House, we're going into our 16th year now. Our founder, Sunny Rosenbaum, her grandson was born with cerebral palsy, and his name is Tucker, so hence the name Tucker's House. So he was really the first client. And so, yeah, it was a grandmother who just had a heart. She had a construction background. Her husband's been a general contractor for over 40 years now. And she just was looking at her son and daughter-in-law and said, hey, there has to be some type of organization or company that can provide home modifications. She was just seeing the challenges that they were having lifting and bathing Tucker around the house. And, being the strong grandmother she was, she just kept calling and calling. She just could not find anything, any type of this service here in the Middle Tennessee area. And so she just said, well, if this doesn't exist, I'm going to start it and just make Tucker the first and just keep going from there. So, we're founded with that heart, and we continue to try to strive to have that same heart of just one family at a time and helping every child to feel at home, just one house and one child at a time. So
obviously every child, every situation, every house is different. And so let's dive into how the magic happens, because you've got experts on your end that look at the homes and figure out what modifications need to be made. That obviously it's the, pulling all the pieces together, and it's everything from the ramps to so much more. So talk about how it happens, the process for bringing all this to life.
Yeah, so one of our core values is facilitate. So we are big facilitators here. We are not the experts, I would say, on anything, but we bring in all the experts. We know how to find and connect with them. So I think what makes us unique is we actually start with our initial assessment. Our program is called our AIM program. It's our Assessment and Inclusive Modification Program. So we start with the assessment, and we have a physical or licensed occupational therapist go out first with our program director to really take a look at what the needs are in the home environment. And the great thing about having those therapists involved is they not only know the diagnosis, and as you said, every situation is different, but they know the diagnosis, they can look at that individual home environment, create an individualized plan, but they also know the prognosis. So it may be like, hey, this child at this age now may not need the fully accessible bathroom with the zero entry shower, but due to the nature of their condition, when they hit puberty or in 5 years, they will need that. So we can go ahead and design that program or that design that space to be accessible for the lifetime of that individual. And so the therapist then passes along and works hand in hand with an architect to draw a design that will be inclusive and make the modifications last a lifetime, as I mentioned. And so people like to think like the magic happens in the construction. It's just like, oh wow, here's this beautiful looking bathroom. And what I tell people a lot is the magic all happens pre-construction. That process takes a lot longer than you would think. I mean, it can take up to 3 to 6 months to line up, the therapist time and the architect time and find the right contractor that can execute on the plan. So it's a lot of pre-construction work. Once we've gotten to construction, everything's figured out and it should just go smooth if we've done our job properly. So,
I
yeah.
think what's interesting too is it's a lot of little things that you might not think about, like flooring, for instance. So
Yes.
it's literally looking at every sort of nuance for their life. So share maybe a couple of examples, because I know you've got some projects in progress right now, but give us a
We
little
do.
bit of kind of that storyline of all the little things, from obviously widening door frames. You mentioned the accessible showers and baths and bathrooms, but it's a lot of little things that we might not necessarily think of at first.
So most often what we do are looking at solid flooring, installed solid flooring, because if you think about taking a wheelchair over carpet, it's just not, very easily to wheel a wheelchair over carpet. And we also do widening doorways, as you mentioned, making that wider so they can access different parts of the home from different pieces of the room. Um, Also looking at accessibility equipment. So can they access all levels of the home? So, we are here in Middle Tennessee. Most often, the master bedroom may be on the first floor, but the child's bedroom may be on the second floor. Or they have siblings that they have on different floors. Or, just think about, hey, we would like to get our child up where everybody else is. So if there's different levels, we're looking at accessibility equipment like a stair lift or entry and exit to the home, a platform vertical lift to get them from a garage level into the home. If there's, steep stairs going to the home, whatever it may be. And then a lot of bathroom modifications. So zero entry showers, roll under sinks, and really like those details you mentioned too in the bathroom. It's everything from, we put niches in the shower, those little inserts in the shower, we put that at their height, or we'll put two in, one at a height of a person who's not in a chair for like the adult to be able to shower, and then one at their height. So if they have the ability, and not all of them do, but if they have the ability to wash, their hair or wash themselves, we're giving them that independence and that dignity to be able to do that for themselves. So even just subtle touches like that, or a touchless faucet for them to be able to wash their hands, and then having a towel rack that's at their height so they can then dry their hands off. And so they're just not reliant completely on their caregiver or their family members to do all of that for them. So there are just a lot of like little subtle things. And again, like that's just where having all the different partners come in. Like we say all the time, these aren't just Tucker's House projects. These are community projects. It takes the community surrounding these families and, all the different, everyone from funders and donors all the way to just architects and construction folks and the therapists helping us to really, do these projects, and they're community projects. They really are.
Well, we're definitely going to talk about the community and support and funding in here in a second.
Okay,
But
yeah.
I know that we have a chance to see this. As I mentioned, you've got projects in progress right now, but you also
Yes.
have house to home. And so talk
Yes.
about that aspect of literally seeing all of this transformation.
Yeah, so we select certain families who are willing to, some families are more inclined to be in a video and more inclined to like share their story. So we have a house to home video series. If you go to our website, tuckershouse.org, you can see that. We have a YouTube channel as well where you can view it. And so that is really just like our version of a HGTV style show to highlight the modifications that are being made. Again, it's mostly like all you see is really the construction side because we've kind of done all the pre-work. Sometimes we get like a little assessment in there on the front end. Um, but that show, and so right now we're doing filming. We have actually 6 active projects right now, so we've got quite a bit going on. A lot of them are equipment projects, so they're not quite they're important, but they're not the full scale. Like a bathroom project might take anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks, depending on, the level of intricacy. But like installing a stair lift is just really a matter of paying for it and then finding a vendor to install it. It might take, a day to install. Um, so within the 6 active projects, like we have two, main ones. We have a ramp going in today. We have a partner that donated, actually, a local general contractor donating their time and materials to go out do a ramp project for actually a Spanish speaking family in Murfreesboro area in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And then we have another one we're working on with other partners in the Maury County, the Spring Hill area of Tennessee. And so one of them will be like our next house to home family. You'll be seeing them, but Addie. So we're just in filming of that. So yeah, that's kind of how it all integrates and pieces together. So not every project we do has necessarily an episode to it. They each have their own story, but we just try to highlight the families that want to tell their story and give them another avenue. Just because a lot of times they suffer in silence, because this is their home, and not every you don't have this big, everyone's looking at your home and seeing the struggle. They might see it in the community, but if your home is this place of struggle and burden, where else can you go? So we just want to highlight that and give them a chance to tell, like, what's this been like for you, and give them a chance to tell their story.
Well, as you mentioned, this is a community effort. And so
Mhm.
talk about how the community can support your efforts. I know you've got a campaign, so financial contributions obviously extremely important, but talk about how the community can support your efforts.
Yeah, so there's multiple ways. As you mentioned, funding is always important. These home modifications are not cheap. Average cost of a bathroom is between $15,000 to $20,000 to really provide the modifications that we do. So we do have a Thrive in 25 campaign. We're hoping to raise the amount of families that we served from last year by 25%. And in order to do that, we need to raise 800,000. So we're over halfway there, actually. So we're really excited. We'll keep pushing forward with that. So definitely, like, monetary donations are always helpful. If there's construction partners, that's also, if you know anyone in the construction space, or you work in construction yourself and you really have a heart for this, just being able to work with partners who might be willing to donate or discount their labor or have access to materials, lumber or tile, or, we have different partners that are willing to donate those materials on each project. So definitely in the construction space, or even if it's, and the architect or therapist, we work with them as well and are always looking for new partners. And we do have paid partners as well. So I'm not saying it always has to be just donated, but I know what the going rate for an architect is, and even the architects that we pay, they're not charging their full rack rate on what they do. They just have a heart of service, and so so definitely in the construction industry, that sort of makes us unique. We do have volunteers on a limited basis. It's more, because this is construction, and it's already an existing home. Like, a lot of people think about, oh, new construction, like a habitat, we'll just go out and do things. Well, it's like, well, this is already somebody's home. So, if you hit the wrong pipe or do they, like, I don't even volunteer, on projects, but we do, like, some general landscaping, hospitality, things like that. So, but that makes us a little bit unique in that, we take a lot of skilled volunteers in the construction, but not as many unskilled volunteers just to kind of do day-to-day things. So
Give us some of the feedback, because obviously, when you talk about what it means for the children, what it means for the families, obviously extremely touching, but give us a little bit of an idea of what that feedback is like from your end.
just life-changing. I was just talking with our program director this morning. We had our one-on-one. She just did a walkthrough for a boy named Kyle and his mom. She's a single mom, takes care of the 2 boys in this home, and you're just doing this walkthrough, and and the construction partner who did the construction's crying. Like we're all crying, just from, they're just like, I couldn't have done this on my own. I think there's just that recognition of, because the families that we serve meet certain financial qualifications, they're not able to spend this kind of money on doing this renovation project, even though it's desperately needed for them. So, that's just what we hear over and over is I don't know what I would have done. And that's also the difficulty sometimes of hearing people outside of our service here. We'd love to expand someday, but we get calls from other places in Tennessee, and you'd be surprised. And we get calls from Oregon and New York. It's like, well, what am I going to do here? We've even had like emails from abroad, from Honduras, Israel, just like, can you give us any type of things to help? So, yeah, I think that's what it is at the end of the day. It's just that it's just life changing.
So you mentioned it before, mention again though, website, social media, phone number even. Where do we go to learn more and get connected with Tucker's House?
Yeah, I mean, the easiest thing is just go to tuckershouse.org. You can get all the access to all those things there. But certainly, definitely want you to check out the House to Home video series. It can paint the picture a lot more than I can just do with words in a 15-minute spot. But definitely go check that out. I think you'll really enjoy it. It's really high quality. It is award winning. We just received a Telly Award in the nonprofit category, so now I could say it's award winning show. So definitely check that out. If you're a family in need, you can find resources in there to apply. We start with an inquiry form. It's just a 2-minute, fill out some basic information. So we won't ask for all the full application up front, just so we can, have a conversation with you. Phone number 615-310-5224. You can reach any of us on our extensions there. Social media, we're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn. And if you scroll to the bottom of our website, there's all those channels on the bottom. So you can click to it from the website and find if you, definitely like and subscribe and check us out there. So,
well, make sure everyone check out once again the website, tuckershouse.org. So, Graham Honeycutt, Executive Director of Tucker's House, thank you for all you and your amazing team do to power the good. Thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services is proud to power the City Current Show. We're a people-first company that protects what matters most, the families, businesses, and trailblazers that keep our community going. As one of the nation's top independent insurance firms, Higginbotham is a single-source solution for business insurance, employee benefits, HR services, and personal insurance that's customized for you. We're here to serve you, the people you care about, and your community. Call 866-377-1959 or visit higginbotham.com.